So Steve Jobs once said, design is a funny word. Some people may think design means what it looks. But when you look closer, design is really how it works. Here at Stillwater Dwellings, that is important to us. And today in this video, we are going to look at all the different aspects of design, and we're going to show you how to put it together to make sure design works for you. My name is Mia Hannum. I'm the interior designer at Stillwater Dwellings, and let's figure out how design works. So what is good design? Design is about working within the confines of a space, and we take our design tools. These are things like shape and color, line, texture, and lighting. And we mix these together in the right size and layout. We apply the principles of ergonomics, and that is how our bodies move and function within space. And we add some discipline, the discipline of symmetry, repetition, and contrast to get a certain outcome. And the outcome we're hoping for is one of harmony, balance, and great proportion. A space that feels good and is comfortable to move around in. It's like baking a cake. You have a bunch of ingredients, you add them in certain amounts in a certain process, you apply the principles of science and experience to bake it at a certain temperature for a certain amount of time, and you have a cake. Voila, beautiful. So why is it important to get the help of a professional? Building a house is time-consuming, it's stressful, and it is expensive. You want to do it right from the start. Working with a professional gives you peace of mind, knowing that your design was well thought through, and it has all the things that you always wanted to have in your house. A professional is an expert at space planning. They know all the gadgets out there and the new materials. And they have a few tricks to make the best of every inch of your space. Working with a professional prevents overwhelm. When you're building a house, there will be a ton of decisions to make. And once you start looking what's out there, you'll be shocked at the options available. A professional knows where to look and what to ignore. And we also know how to extract the correct information to narrow down your options and to help you make informed decisions. Where do you start with a new design? We start with gathering the information. The initial consultation is a critical part of the process. That is where we really want to understand your ideas, your goals, your priorities, and your lifestyle. Now, we typically start with inspiration because that is an easy way and a quick way for us to understand what you like and to pull out different elements and see if it can work within your space. But before we get carried away too much with the look and feel, we want to make sure your space works well. So we're going to focus on space planning and layout, making sure there's sufficient space on plan as well as elevation for storage, for work surfaces, for movement between different activity points, and natural flow and walkways in your space. Once we're happy with the functionality, now we can start playing around with all the textures and materials and colors. And this is the fun part of the process, where we start building storyboards, we're putting things together, and we can play within our 3D renderings to see how different materials will look or new ideas, and we can push those creative boundaries a little bit. Our clients love that part of the process, and it is really great to make final decisions. Finally, we put everything together, the plans and the specifications, and make it available as part of the architectural drawing set so that those who need and want to look at the information have it available to ensure a smooth process. How do you know where to start or what finish to pick first? Now, once you understand the order of selecting finishes, your life becomes much easier. Sometimes people get a little obsessed with the paint color. But there are 1,000,001 paint colors to choose from, so how would you even know which one to pick? This is how we do it. We start with those materials and elements that have the fewest options available, like stone or other natural hard finishes with a fixed undertone. Next, we select either the countertops or the tile, depending which one is more important to you or if you have a specific desire to use something. Now you can start putting the different elements together. Next up would be wood. Now I don't think too hard about wood because it is a natural material, as long as it is not overstained or gray stained. And by the way, the most timeless wood finish for your floor is a light or medium wood tone. It's like a pair of jeans, it goes with everything. Next thing we choose is the contrast color. It can be either a color or the metal. And then last thing on the list is your paint color. Now that we have all the different undertones next to one another, it is easy to see what paint color to use. How do we make sure a design is timeless? Trends come and go, and it is easy to think of the different eras in design in terms of the dominating background colors of the time. We had the roaring colors and patterns of the 70s. We had ice creamy pastels in the 80s. We had heavy stained brown and complicated beiges in the 90s. And this carried through to the dreaded Tuscan heaviness of the 2000s. In the 2010s, we had endless shades of gray. And now we're having a quick affair with stark black and white, and we're slowly moving towards more lighter and friendlier beiges. Now, there will always be change, and change is good. But what we want to avoid is to feel stuck in a space that is dated by the finishes that we use, and just 6 months after you've gone through all the trouble and expense to install it. We have specific guidelines we follow that will extend the lifespan of your design. Here are a few things we do to extend your design. Don't overdo the current trend. So we've seen this over and over in the gray era, where we had gray tiles on top of gray countertops, on top of gray painted cabinets, on gray stained floors, oh my goodness, and in a cloud of gray painted walls. Which brings us to the next point, is to only use the current trend on those things that are easy to replace, like paint colors. Go wild with funky fixtures and materials, fabric, furniture, furnishings. But don't overdo that current neutral on your floors or your countertops. Those are expensive and difficult to replace. The next thing is always choose simplicity over complication. It is the things that excites us most, those new materials and fun things we see that says, look at me, that we tire of soonest. So if you have a choice, rather choose the one that is less complicated, the one with simple lines, not too busy, monotone colors. You will be happy with it for longer. What is design for wellness? Our built environments affect every aspect of our lives: our health, how we sleep, how we perform, our energy levels, how we feel about ourselves. For me, I insist on developing designs that does a few things. It must make it easy to maintain healthy habits. This concerns really room and space planning to create areas that is motivating to prepare healthy meals, to sleep well, to have family meals, to move more and do exercise. It is also important to work with our biological rhythms, and this really involves circadian lighting, making sure the right type of light, the right time of day, so that we can function well, have energy and be focused when we have to, and can prepare our bodies for sleep when we need to. And it is very important to me to bring nature back into our lives through design. And this is really creating views to the outside, bring in natural light, fresh air, making inviting exterior spaces, and making it easy to enjoy those exterior spaces. The moment we start pushing nature further out of our environments, that is really when more and more problems start with our health, not only physically, but also mentally.